Man, we've had a biblical amount of rain today. It's only raining lightly now and the sun's out, but geez, flooding all over the place. Must be climate change for you. Good afternoon again. So I'm back with these Ditton 44s that in my initial video I wrote these off. But I got chatting to my client, and these have such a story behind them. Not a story that I'm here to tell, but they've led an interesting life. They have probably been involved in quite an emotional life, and yeah, I'm kind of I gave my client options with them as to what we could do, because I don't like to poo-poo speakers, no matter how bad they are. Speakers don't come here to die. They come here to be repaired, rejuvenated, upgraded, reinvented, however you want to look at it. Excuse me. And I gave my client lots of different options as to what we can do with these, because we're starting with 6 dead drivers which are burnt out, and there's a reason for that I now understand. Again, it's not for me to say. And we're starting with a pair of fairly ropey cabinets, and I gave her a few options: finding new drivers, rebuilding the tweeters, going all out on the cabinets and re-veneering them, or stabilizing them and sanding the back and just tidying them up. So sonically they would be a Ditton 44, assuming we found woofers and mid-ranges, but you know, they would be tidy, covers would be redone, that sort of thing. But yeah, they would still be cabinets that were a bit sort of not ropey but tidied up. So once we got chatting about the story of these and, you know, how they ended up the way they are, we kind of thought, well, it's time for these to continue their life, continue their journey and their story, and that really means repairing them and evolving them and sort of reinventing them a little bit, really. So that's what we're going to do. So what I'm planning on doing in this video anyway is stabilizing the cabinets and probably sanding those back, filling them, and trying to get the cabinets as good as we can without re-veneering them. Re-veneering them is something I have no issue doing. I do quite a lot of it now, as you probably gather from my my own series of speakers and other builds I've done. But it's costly. The veneering materials themselves aren't that expensive, but it takes time. It's not a quick process. So and obviously that cost has to go somewhere. So I think these can be tidied up. I can colour fill quite a few bits and pieces like this. So I think we can sympathetically tidy the cabinets. So that's the plan. Drivers, these woofers are burnt out and lock solid. These mid-ranges, they're obviously far from original, and both our HF 2000 tweeters are cooked as well. I rebuild a lot of these. I could rebuild these, but I think for what I'm going to do to them, or my idea reinventing these, is not going to involve using that. So maybe in this video we'll go through what I'm planning on doing. So the important thing is to maintain the base, the body, the Ditton 44 kind of lower end sound, which my client's really keen to keep, and so am I. So I could try and find another pair of T2600s, which is what these are, or the earlier T1600, or I could put something a little bit more updated, a driver that I know and would work well with these. And I have a number of these, and these are the woofers from a pair of Ditton 442s. They're also used in the 662s and things like that. So hopefully you can see those together. I wouldn't be surprised if this cone and suspension is not the same as that. The basket is pretty similar on the back of this. The surround is obviously different, but that's not a problem. In fact, that's good for what I'm thinking of using for the mid. This is an 8-ohm driver. That's a 4, but that's not a problem. Even if I cloned the crossover used on the 442 to use in this, I'm going to redesign a crossover for this anyway. So I think that's our woofer. I've got probably 3 pairs of these, so that's what we're going to use. For the mid-range, I'm going to use this. I have a number of these and I really love them. So these are made by Microlab, and they were used in a lot of Gale speakers. And I have been subconsciously sort of collecting these drivers for another limited run build I might do. But anyway, these are really good, polypropylene. So the paper cone woofer is going to be great for the bass. Polypropylene mid, really good, and the chassis is going to match our woofer really well. So that's going to go in there quite nicely, I think. What I don't want to do is play this mid-range up really high to meet our HF2000 tweeter. These can't play very low. They're normally crossed to the mid-range at around 4.5–5 kilohertz, which is high considering the spacing we have between these drivers. So as I'm using that, I'm going to use my favourite budget tweeter, but they're good. These are QTX tweeters with a 26mm soft dome. These can play quite low. I often cross these to a mid-bass driver around 1800 hertz, and then this distance we have all of a sudden doesn't become as much of an issue. So we're going to use that, we're going to use this, and we're going to use this woofer. And I think that's going to be a really good combination. I'm very familiar with these drivers, and I think they're going to work really well in this this setup. So anyway, enough of me waffling on. Let's strip them down and get these cabinets stabilized, and then I can look at sanding the back and see what we're left with, really. And obviously the cover frames we're going to repair as well. These capacitors normally hold up really well, but these have really corroded. Never seen them quite that bad before. I've seen them cracked like this, and that does kind of wreck them, and normally the legs at the end sort of break off, but yeah, they've proper had it. So yeah, I'm inside these now, and sorry this is all a bit wobbly cam. On the inside things are looking really good, so structurally not too bad. Our mid enclosure is all nice. So we're definitely dealing with the exterior of these cabinets. So as you can see, they are pretty knocked about. But what I want to make sure first is that they are solid and stable. So if I need to clamp and glue them, that's what I want to do first. Then it's going to be a case of sanding them and seeing then what needs filling, and going from there, really. The bits of wood that were put on here were glued, and then the original kind of cut out in the back, which is where the binding posts would have been filled, in this case with a bit of chipboard by the looks of it, which has got all moisture damaged and blown up. But it's pulled a lot of the chipboard off with it, which was sort of expected. So I will see what I can do with that. I'll probably stabilise it with glue, sand it and fill it. Worst case, I will have to put a new panel there, or take this out and recess a panel in there. So yeah, quite a lot to deal with these cabinets. This is a good sign. It sits in there nicely. It has the right sound. Right, I'm not too sure how well this is all going to be in shot, but I'll do my best. So what I'm going to do is look around all of these corner joints and just see if they open up at all. I'll run adhesive around the inside anyway, but that one's looking okay. Yeah, it's not too bad. I think the cabinets are kind of quite structurally sound. Nope. Okay, that's opening up. That's quite an easy fix. Yeah, okay, so that corner there needs dealing with. A bit of tape on that so I know, but otherwise not too bad. I was pressing on the back panel as well, and that's nice and secure. I mean, I'm going to run around it on the inside with glue anyway. Okay, that's good. I'm sure you can hear the rain. It has been raining pretty much all day. We had a huge monsoon that came down earlier and just flooded everywhere. It's yeah, just weather's crazy. There's a lot of wood screw holes randomly dotted around in these, I've noticed. I think at some point the covers were screwed on with wood screws. One there as well, one there. So I'm not too sure what that's all about. Okay. Yeah, this is the bad one. Bit there as well. Okay, that's not too bad. Right. So what I can use when it comes to filling these is I have a lot of this wood filler that I like using. It goes off quickly and it's really easy to sand. So this is like a pine spruce colour, kind of teak colour, which is probably what we'll end up using. An ebony, which is more of a black, and then walnut, which is kind of a burgundy colour. That is often quite a winner as well. And also I have these sticks which you heat up and kind of melt on and then sand off. They do give you quite a good hard corner repair. so they're quite good for that, but they're a bit of a pig to sand sometimes. So yeah, I'm sure I'll be making use of these to get a load of filler on there. So most of these joints that need gluing don't really need clamping. They're kind of holding themselves together. It's just when you pull on them they open up, so hopefully not too bad. That was the only one on this cabinet, which is pretty good. So really with this one I'm going to have to get a load of filler in there, and this will be sanded as well, but I just want to stabilise it so all the loose bits of chipboard get glued together. Okay, that's not too bad. You know you've got the glue in there. When you close it up it kind of squeezes out, so I sort of try and do that a few times to sort of suck it in. So what I'll also do is go around all of these loose chipboard corner locks like this, just to get some glue to soak in, so when I sand them it's not just splintering all over the place. So yeah, I'll go around and do that. Right, so while the cabinets are gluing, before I can sand them, I might as well have a look at the cover frames, and they filthy. Yeah, so let's get the badge off it. Right, let's take the badges off. These actually come up quite nicely if you go over the silver parts with a silver pen, so I'm pretty sure we can salvage those. Should be a nice little touch. I'm not going to let you watch me struggle to take this off. I'm going to quickly do that. So the only damage with this one is a crack at the top here. And we can see that there's screw holes here, so they've obviously screwed these on. Again, with that I can get glue inside it. We're still solid here, here and here, so that's not really seeing any force, so I can glue that up. But the other one's a bit worse. We've got a crack through here, so again I can do the same with that. So this one is quite bad. We have a crack here, but it's not kind of broken through, so I can carefully open that, get some glue in there. But here is bad, and there really isn't much I can do to open that up to try and get it back together. So what I'm going to do is glue this, soak this in glue both sides, and then clamp it. And then hopefully that keeps it flat while the glue goes off. And then I can sand it, and hopefully it's going to be stable then. This is okay, this is okay, and this is okay. So it's not the end of the world, and I can always line this with some batten as well. So yeah, I think I'll try and get some glue in there, clamp it. I don't know, it's obviously got, I think it's gotten moisture damaged because the way the chipboard is blown up. And that's obviously weakened it, and someone's put a screw through it again. So yeah, let's do that. Eek. You can tell, like I say, the glue's gone in there because when I squeezed that back flat, some of it came out. There you go, like that. So the other thing I can do as well, and I do sometimes, is just glue some really stiff card over these repairs, and that really helps stabilise them too, because these chipboard frames are so weak. Often I end up just remaking them in plywood, but these are okay. The cutouts are going to be okay for the new drivers I'm intending to use. So yeah, other than these bits, I think it's worth salvaging them really, and I'm all up for a bit of originality. I know this looks a mess, but trust me, I'm a bricklayer. Just try and get some of that inside it at the moment. Ugh. Right, actually that might be a good thing, because I can fill that, but it allows me to get some glue in there. Right, let me get this clamped up and you'll see what I mean. Right, so that's clamped up, and I've put some paper in between the blocks and the baffle, because otherwise these blocks are just going to glue themselves on, and that's not going to help anyone. The paper won't. Well, the paper will glue it on, but it will glue to it, but it won't allow the glue onto the blocks I'm using, and I can just sand the paper out. That's no problem at all. So yeah, that's all nice and straight now, so I will leave that carefully, and tomorrow probably be as good as new. Right, I think I'm probably going to leave this one here, and in the third part we'll repair these cabinets, so get some filler on them. In the meantime, I'll probably sand them, and then you can see what that's going to look like before we fill them. And then, yeah, we can start looking at getting the drivers in and getting some crossover work done at some point. So let's see what happens.